Daniela, oh my gosh, so wonderful to see everyone. Hello, Barbara. Hi, Ruby, Sandy, Daniela,
Hi.
Dawn Marie. I think I've got all of you on here. So excited to meet my fellow mystic genius healers. Carol Kemp is joining us now too. It's like a family reunion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited to see you guys. Oh, Carol Kemp just joined us too. I've seen some of you guys on some of the other Facebook Lives and so forth, you know, in Dr. Joe's, I recognize your names or recognize your faces from the Coherence International. You know, Azure Porat does such an amazing, I'm going to call it a technical review because he takes the most amazing notes and recaps the entire event so comprehensively. So it is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. If for those of you who haven't seen it, it is recorded, so you can catch that later. And if you need me to send you the link, let me know and I'll send you the link to that and you can watch it later. This particular, do you guys think we should turn the music off or should I leave it in the background? Doesn't matter. I think
The background is fine.
I can barely hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off. I think it's good for just the beginning. So, welcome to the Dr. Joe 30-Day Advanced Student Review. The purpose of our gathering here together is to continuously keep each other in a space of energetic inspiration and encouragement as we hear each other share the incredible things that are happening with signs, symbols, synchronicity, insights, and ahas that we have had since we attended the last 7-day advanced event with Dr. Joe. And to just be here as a community of like-minded souls who are gathered for the same purpose, which, you know, we all want to continue walking our lives with an open heart and brain coherence. And we are healing ourselves, healing others, and we're creating and manifesting, in short, a better world, a better universe. So thank you all for showing up and co-creating this space with me. So does somebody want to start? I noticed that Dawn, Sandy, Ruby, and Carol, you guys are already unmuted. So do one of you want to share what has happened since in the last 30 days or since you started, you know, whenever your last 7-day advanced was?
Well, I'm happy to share. This was my first 7-day advanced workshop. I live in the state of Washington, by the way. I'm out in my backyard. If it gets crazy with birds and squirrels and people who turn their radios on in their driveways, I'll move inside, but it's pretty peaceful out here right now. So I'll just share a couple of things. My experience for the week long was like off the charts. I keep telling everybody if I had to pick one word for it, the only word I could use is holy. H-O-L-Y, holy.
Yes.
Because every single meditation we had progressed me to, 6 or 7 rungs up that ladder, and it was pretty phenomenal in a lot of ways. But the two things that I wanted to share in regards to like the synchronicity things are the last day of the event, Saturday, when we did a meditation in the morning and we did a coherence healing in the afternoon. And both of those were just seismic experiences for me. And at lunchtime when I went to the Q&A afterwards, and then we went to lunch and sat at a table of complete strangers to me and the gentleman I was with. And when I picked up my iced tea, I was still rattling, like, a couple hours after everything had happened. Wow. And my friend said to me, "My gosh, are you still shaking and quaking?" And I said, "Apparently so." And so everybody at the table wanted to know what happened. So I told them what happened. And I made the comment that there was so much energy radiating off of me. I was certain that when I got to the airport later that afternoon, that evening, I was going to set off the scanners, and I did.
Of course.
Well, I will say, I think I cheated a little too, because you get in the tube and you got to stand, with your arms over your head, right? And you got to look up. And while I was in there, I said, by the power of the I am that I am, I send divine light and love to all of you, while I was in the scanner. And they pulled me aside and they asked me if I was wearing a metal belt. I had a tank top on. They asked me if I was wearing a metal belt, and I said no and showed them. And she said, well, we're going to have to just pull you over here. And they very politely frisked me. But I got a big chuckle out of that, because Dr. Joe had told us about the experience with himself. And I think it was a scientist or another doctor or someone who the doctor had set it off first, and Dr. Joe took that as a challenge and said, well, if he can do it, I can do it. Right? And I thought, well, if Dr. Joe can do it, maybe I can do it. And
We can all.
I did. And then the other thing was, which is an unexplainable, truly an unexplainable. So I left Denver airport at 8:00 at night, a 3-hour flight home. And I'm a big picture taker. So I never fly first class. Friend of mine bought me a first class ticket for this. You got to go all the way. Yeah. Okay,
Wow.
I'll start. Don't start. I won't stop. So I'm in first class, which really is not first class. It's COVID class. And so, but I was there and I was comfortable. But I took a picture of my first class meal, which was 8 snacks in a box.
Oh my gosh.
Oreo cookies, this first class, Oreo cookies, potato chips, a little teeny tiny beef stick, Tic Tac. That was my first class. So I just thought it was comical. So I took a picture of my first class meal. I took pictures of everything. And,
Oh my gosh.
and
It's guaranteed to make you sick if you're not sick yet.
there was not one healthy thing in there. There really was not one healthy thing in there. So, but so when the plane took off, I'm sitting in my seat and I'm saying to myself, or maybe that just myself, fly over the Gaylord. Please fly over the Gaylord. I just want to take one last picture over the Gaylord. And we did.
You did?
We did. But it was so hazy with the smoke that was going on. I didn't get a great picture, but we flew over the Gaylord. So that was kind of cool. And then I took pictures taking off. I took pictures of what I could see along the way out the window. Took a picture of my dinner. And then the next series of pictures I took were the mountains as we were coming into the state of Washington, because we have Mount Rainier and we have some beautiful snow-capped mountains up here. And from the air, it was gorgeous. And the night up here was clear. And so I was taking pictures out the window. So it wasn't until 2 days later when I actually looked at my phone and reviewed the pictures that I had taken since I left. And in between the picture of my lunch, my dinner, and the pictures of the moon over the mountains, there was a photograph of a passage from a book.
Really?
And it was a whole page, a whole giant 2 paragraphs, whole page of text that was all about what we were doing with Dr. Joe. But I didn't have any books on the plane. I didn't take that picture. I don't know how that picture got sandwiched in between the dinner and the movie and the mountains. I really have no explanation for it. I couldn't possibly have taken the picture. I didn't have any books that had text. I was too busy writing in my journal, everything I could remember to write down. So I don't know where that came from, but that was, all I could hear was, well, is it odd or is it God?
So first of all, that's unbelievable, from your friend gifting you that first class plane ticket, and then, you wishing that they would fly over the Gaylord, and then they did.
Mhm.
Everything that you shared with us. So I don't know about you all, but I am really eager for you to post those pictures on our Dr. Joe Advanced Student 30-day follow-up FB group, so we can see all those pictures and see that book passage and everything, because that is evidence that your
Oh
vibration,
yeah.
your heart and your brain coherence obviously is spot on. It's encouraging to us. We're tapping into the energy of wonder that you're fluffing out that energy, and you're still
Yeah.
tapped into. And it gives me, I feel, how they say that you can sometimes have a vicarious experience where you feel the same thing that the other, that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. I'm like feeling heat and the vibration in my body. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And it's like, you keep on talking and sharing the page of that book. See, obviously the divine is trying to get your attention, because you did not put that there.
I
That
did not.
that mysteriously showed up. And now
Right.
you're sharing that with us. And so that's speaking to each and every one of us as well.
Yeah, that was, I can't stop. I can't, and I don't want to, but I can't stop feeling in awe.
Yes.
Awe is the word. I can't, I still in a daze. I feel like a space cadet. I tell my husband, don't ask me to spell anything, please, because I'm just so not here yet. And I don't want to be. I
Yeah.
just don't even want to be.
You have
I
the
don't, I know there's a balance between the third dimension and the fifth dimension. We gotta live our life down here and in some form, but it's like, I don't want to come down from this high yet. Not yet.
Well, and you don't
me.
have to come down from the high. I see that you're outside, you're in nature, so you are getting grounded, but you're not losing that connection with the divine. So as you
Right.
continue to move forward, that's why Dr. Joe always has us go, every 7-day advance event, it's always either at the beach or in the mountains where we're outside in earth. He doesn't keep us in the monastery 24/7 the whole 7 days. No, he takes us out in nature where we're
Right.
smelling the air, and our feet are able to touch earth, sand, grass.
Sun.
So you're already there. So I was just talking to a doctor who studied with Dr. Joe at Quantum University and did her thesis on some of his work. And her name is Dr. Nirmala. I don't remember her last name, but Dr. Nirmala. And she was talking about how, even though, scientists and so forth, they're very left brain, very analytical and so forth, but she has learned to keep her right side open because of Dr. Joe's work and, everything he teaches us in meditation and so forth, and to keep that open all the time, so that as she's treating patients and so forth, she is not just using her left analytical brain, but she's tapping into that quantum realm where there are no limitations. We only have infinity. We have that infinite source of intelligence, because she says she's able to be a better doctor and a better guide, because now things that she's limited by what she's studied, she doesn't have that limitation anymore. Now it's both and. So
Wow.
then things are really speaking to that person. And as I was talking to her last night, I didn't know what to expect when we were going to talk. We had this very serendipitous, she's on the other side of the world. As it turns out, we happen to know some of the same people. And so I was just kind of open. She said, hey, why don't we meet on Zoom? And I said, sure. And then, of course, all these beautiful quantum gifts, I'm going to call them, kind of unfolded. But she's very conscious about keeping her heart and brain connection, that coherence open, not just during meditation, but as she moves throughout the day.
Okay.
Because now she realizes, because she used to be all left brain and she didn't pay too much attention to the right side of her brain, so to speak, and wasn't as connected. It was kind of like occasional connection instead of always in that state. And she goes, game changer. She goes, now I just stay in that state all the time. And who would have thought that she would be able to be of greater service and to be more effective? And things happen, like Dr. Joe talked about in the Denver, Colorado event that we just came back from last week. He talked about how we have space time, which is 3D, and then time space, which is 5D. And in quantum time space, you don't have to wait. You don't have to travel through space. It doesn't have to take time for you to accomplish or to do anything. You just be it, and 5D, boom, it appears. And so, oh my gosh, that is so exciting to hear everything that you have going on, Dawn Marie.
Thank you.
You're on a roll. So I just want to,
I hope so.
sending you, all of us right now, let's just send beam heart, love, energy towards Dawn Marie, every single
Right back at
person.
you.
We're sending you that love vibration, and thank you. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
Oh, no, I don't want to hog all the time, please. I would love to hear from some of you.
Okay, Dawn. Well, thank you for sharing and bringing us into your sacred space. Who would like to be next? All right, Ruby.
I'll go ahead and go. Dawn Marie, you were my partner for one day. So that's
Yes, and I met Deborah too.
What's that?
I met Deborah too. Out of all the people I did not meet, it's nice to see some faces I did meet.
Nice, nice. So thank you. Thank you for hosting this. Thank you for everybody, showing up for this. I'm sure this is probably very normal, and there's been a lot of opportunity once I got home to put the work into place. And one of the things that I was really having a hard time with is the walking meditations. Oh my goodness, I loved the walking meditations. It just was a tool that really, really, really moved me. And we were in such a safe, sacred place, with 1,500 of us out there, and that energy that all of us feeding off of each other. And so since I've been home, I've got parks, I've got the public, and I've been wrestling with getting these, getting out and experiencing these walking meditations again. And so today, I just decided that future me on those walks, is the ambitious one, and she doesn't let anything hold her back. And so I got in my car. I did drive a little ways away. I didn't go to my local park over here. And I found an area, and I, was able to do 10, the walking meditation 10. Wonderful. So the coherence between the heart and the mind, the brain. And it was just so amazing. One thing I did discover is that I'm a weeper. I didn't notice this at home, because if I weep at home and I snort and I make a mess of my face, who cares? I'm by myself. But I didn't want to distract from people around me while I was in Denver. So I noticed that, and I'm okay with that. I get moved so easily. I mean, just to tears, and it's just happy. It's joy. It's love of life. And the other thing that I recognize about myself is that I laugh. I'm a laugher. I can't help it. Those walking meditations, I get so full of gratitude. And I almost went to my feet several times. I was laughing so hard. Wow. I mean, it's beautiful. I come out of it, I'm just like, it's gorgeous. So anyways, back to this afternoon, and, doing that walking meditation 10. And when he's saying, a heart full of mind and a mind full of heart, I just wept and laughed and laughed and wept. And I just took my heart, a heart full of mind. And it was like, or a mindful of heart, I instantly went to my analytical mind in my 3D life, but it's being fueled, all of this wisdom, the mind, the wisdom that's coming through it, from the universe into this dimension, into this existence, now is meshed, and that wisdom's coming through love. And then I reversed it to my heart, where my heart, I love so big. I mean, my love is so huge. It's infinite. And so I was able to connect the idea that through my heart, now I get to love through wisdom, through intelligence. And I mean, it was just huge epiphanies. That was just this afternoon, so it is continuing. I do miss you guys. I miss it. I miss it so bad. I miss it. I got in the car and I had to really work on pulling it together. I didn't want to leave. And so I was able to do that, was able to turn it around and take that beautiful fine line between pain, between sorrow and joy, and step back over it and pull in the joy, get excited to come home and do the work here. But it's been, it's definitely been challenging. I have my family, and I don't know if this is even time. I don't want to take up a lot of time either, but if maybe somebody wants to reach out, as far as not going back to my old reactive me in situations like, in a nutshell, my dad is got Alzheimer's. He needs somebody to look out for him, and I was the one doing it. And things happened while I was in Denver that took that away. I mean, it's kind of a serious situation, but at the same time, it's an opportunity to practice. So I'm a little bit lost with that, incorporating, that work and still standing in my light and not being that reactive Ruby before.
Yes. Wow. That is so beautiful what you're sharing, Ruby, because I'm sure all of us can relate. It's like the 7 days end, and none of us want to leave that incredible. It's just such a loving energy, and it's so complete. And
You-
like he says in the meditations, he talks about the energy that is in us, through us, and all around us. And it is legitimately in us, through us, and all around us. The entire property is engulfed in that because of the work that we're doing there for those 7 days. So you don't want to leave that. Who would want to leave that? So it's like what I have learned to do, and I had a realization, was that, oh, wait a minute, in 5D, there's no such thing as space and time. I can tune in to that energy. And even though I'm now here at home, I can re-experience that here while I'm doing my own meditations and feel that same incredible energy. And it's almost like this ecstasy or this euphoria of being, some of the meditations are higher in terms of that euphoric state. Others are kind of more even keel. I think the divine realizes that we don't have the wherewithal to have every single meditation be at that level. So we have, they're never really low, but you have some that are more tempered, and then you have others where you're just literally vibrating. You're going, whoa, what is that feeling? And it feels amazing. But we can take the energy of those 7 days and literally tap into all of it combined at any point in time, because our body already experienced it. We already have the neurological pathways in the brain, and we have the cellular memory where it is in our body. And as long as we are aware of that, then we can tap into it. If we're unaware of it, then it just starts to fade as a distant memory. So what I would like to say is, one of the things that has worked for me, because we all have unwanted, unpleasant, sometimes shocking things that happen when we get back home. And I realized that in the moment that you are shocked or unpleasantly unaware of something very much unwanted, I've learned to hit the pause button and go, I got to stop right here. And in my mind's eye, I always picture my ego being right here on my left, and next to my ego, I have my brain. And up until like for the last 2 years, I've been doing it just mentally, but because I do these Zooms and so forth for my YouTube channel, I found what I was visualizing. The Staples had these easy buttons, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Well, they actually still sell them online. So I bought it through Amazon. And because in my mind's eye, I was thinking, okay, this is my ego. I'm like, ego, time out. Press the button. That was easy. And I would hear, that was easy. Now I get to hear the real one. But in meditation, I don't use the button. I'm just using it for a demo here. Then brain, do as I say. And then I go, slow down my breath, slow down my heart, slow down my brain waves. And then I change whatever the unwanted is, I change it to what I do want. All that to say that I had the realization that in face of the unwanted, we have the particles that are manifesting in 3D like this. And I'm like, I don't want this. I don't like this. I don't like the way this feels. If I freak out, go, oh my gosh, get angry, get frustrated, get annoyed, guess what? I'm cementing them with an elevated emotion to stay in the unwanted. But if I hit the pause button and I now put my ego in timeout, tell my brain, do as I say, and then I go into 5D quantum, slowing down my breath, slowing down my heart, slowing down my brain waves, and I go, okay, now that I have done a certain 10 breaths in my case, 10 breaths, I'm going to go into the 5D quantum, and I am going to change those particles back into potential waveforms of energy and put them by using my clear intention, the focus of the image of what I do want in my mind's eye. Now new particles, those waveforms are turning into new particles the way I do want them. And I keep on doing that. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling so much love in my heart. And then I'm like excited and thrilled. And for me, it helps to do the same languaging and the same motions every time, because my brain and my body goes, oh yeah, we know this. So you're anchoring in your body. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it again. I made the impossible possible. I did it. I did it. I did it. And like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm thrilled, overjoyed. And then once I feel that it's done, then I let it go. And I come back. And as soon as I open my eyes, I go, oh my gosh, I don't know when, I don't know how, and it doesn't matter, because I know that I have a Christmas gift. I have some sort of unexpected cool surprise coming around the corner, which will show me that my manifestation, whatever I created in 5D, is here in the 3D realm. And then usually more often than not, faster than I could ever imagine, boom, I get the confirmation, which still puts me, I'm going to use Dawn Marie's word. It puts me in a state of awe, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it works. I'm like, and then I'm of course continuing with gratitude and appreciation, like, thank you, thank you, thank you. But I found for me, that really works. And I can't imagine what it would be like to be dealing with somebody who has Alzheimer's, Ruby. That's an exhausting.
Well, I really, really appreciate everything you're saying, because I do feel like, and the reminder of it all, I feel, I have given it into the unified field, and I know there's a peaceful resolution to this. And I'm talking to the attorneys, and I'm telling the attorney, look, we got to find a peaceful resolution. We got to work together. We got to get this fixed, whatever. But there is, by God, there is a peaceful resolution, and it already exists. I just need to take it another step or two and really connect to it, I think. And so, and I'm okay, I'm doing okay. It's all new. It's been amazing, absolutely amazing, but I really appreciate, just, I need to slow down more, I think. So thank you.
Yeah, that's I think that's the most paradoxical thing about this work that doesn't make sense, because in 3D we always think that you have to hurry up and get it done and make it happen and so forth. And it's like it's counterintuitive to, in the midst of all this unwanted stuff, it's like, oh, now I have less time to get more stuff done, because now I have this additional load to contend with. And what now that we're aware about the, instead of space, time, space, and 5D, where things can happen instantly, wow, we can fast track things, because the how-to, that's none of our business. We just focus on the end result of what we want to witness with our eyes, and the state of joy that we want to feel when it's already here. You're like, oh my gosh, I did it, I did it, I did it. And as you seal it with that elevated emotion and then let it go, then it's already, the particles are literally coalescing and becoming more dense. When it reaches a certain critical mass, then it pops into 3D reality. And then when you witness it in 3D reality, my experience has been that I used to think that it would be like a deja vu, and it's never been like a deja vu. It's always like I rewound the tape and then played it over again, except instead of doing it in my head, now I'm seeing it in real life. And what's the most awe-striking to me is that let's say if there's a man involved in the co-creation, I'm shocked that they will say the exact same words that I had in my imagination. Doesn't matter what country I'm in. I mean, when in 2019, I traveled to like 10 countries. So I could be in Malta, I could be in Sardinia, I could be in Sicily, I could be in Italy, I could be in France, Canada, didn't matter. And I'm like, how is it possible? They're not privy to what I imagined. I never said anything to them. As soon as something unwanted happened, just a sidebar, I was affirming that men are magical, mystical creatures. So then all of a sudden something unwanted would happen. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, pause button, ego, you're in timeout, brain, do as I say. And I'm like, I have to do a walking meditation with my eyes open. I don't have the music. I'm not pulling up the app. I'm just doing the formula. Slow down my breath, slow down my heart rate, slow down my brain waves. Nobody else around me knows that I'm doing a walking meditation. I'm walking, driving, and that guy is doing everything. I'm doing nothing but that walking meditation. And an hour later, this phone, believe it or not, was stolen in Sardinia. An hour later, that guy, Matteo, put this cell phone in my hand just as I had visualized. Nobody recoups a stolen phone anywhere. I did, because I knew the formula and I was willing to implement it and do it. And that's just to show us that it works for everything, everything.
So are you actually trained through your, with Dr. Joe?
I'm only trained through Dr. Joe, as I have taken his books, and I decided in 2019 that I was going back to get a PhD. I was going to use his Becoming Supernatural, which you'll probably see back there. It's all tagged up. But Becoming Supernatural, I just treat it like a textbook. I've read it probably 4 or 5 times. I've taught it on my YouTube channel. I've memorized portions of it because I wanted to learn it, apply it, implement it, and be able to teach it to others, so that they would understand and learn from whatever it was, whatever shortcuts I have become aware of, so that people could get results faster. And so I did that with Becoming Supernatural, You Are the Placebo, and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And I'm also a clinical neurosomatic practitioner. So I was pre-med, I do have some, I was a first responder, a long time ago. So it's a passion. I mean, it's an even greater passion now than it was before, but I've just been to the 7-day advanced events like yourself. Every single day, I'm always, not only Dr. Joe stuff, but there's several other neuroscientists like Dr. Andrew Huberman from Stanford Research Institute, Dr. Bruce Lipton, who happens to be a colleague of Dr. Joe, he was on my radio multiple times. So I've been a student of this for a long time, and it's just my passion, my heart's heart.
Thank you. You're doing great.
Excuse me, Olivia, and I can't stay. But I want to mention for those of you who are having withdrawal symptoms from Denver, you may be delighted to find out that the AFU for Denver is now listed on Dr. Joe's website. So you can start planning because the costs and so on are there.
Cool. Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for
the what is?
So Dr. Joe said that October 29th will be coming back to the Gaylord in Denver, Colorado for an advanced follow-up.
But it's now listed on his website.
That means that you booked it with the hotel, so that's awesome. Thank you, John.
Okay. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
I have a question. Is the enrollment open?
No, not yet. He'll send out probably usually about 60 days before the event. That's when they open up the registration.
Yeah, they said in August, and they said that they would send us
So you'll get an email, and I would just pay attention and leaving the monastery. In our groups, what I try to do is both on our Signal groups, as well as the Facebook Dr. Joe 30-day review, I try and let people know the moment I see the email or it's called to my attention that we got an email telling us that registration, because every now and then people don't get the email. So I always like to put it on there with a screenshot of the email so that people know to look for it. And if they didn't get it, then you could always forward it to them because they should have gotten it. If somebody's on leaving the monastery, they're a 7-day advanced student, they should have gotten it. But technology sometimes fails. So yeah, and you guys, if you're serious about going to that, I would go ahead and book your room now, because Denver, right after we registered, it was sold out. And I tried to, I booked my room the night before because I kind of had an intuitive hit that it was going to sell out and I didn't want to deal with it. So I'm a JW Marriott Rewards member, and I just called them up and I said, listen, I tried to book this on your site and I want to do 10 days, not just the days of the event. And my group goes live for registering tomorrow. So, but I don't want to wait till tomorrow. I want to book it now. And they said, not a problem. We'll go ahead. And he goes, yeah, we have 2 groups of over 1,000 that are going to be there. And that's why it's not letting you, but we'll do this for you. So they booked my 10 days and they said, the code that we're going to give you is not going to be your actual code. In a couple of days, because your code won't go live till tomorrow. So in a couple of days, you'll get an email replacing your code and giving you the group discount. It's already noted on your file. But then I didn't have to compete with, the mayhem of everybody trying to register all on that same day. So just to give you peace of mind, you get it out of the way. Just book it.
Okay. So you started registering right now, right?
So yeah, you can't register for the event, but you can book your hotel.
Okay. Please forgive me. I am in the middle of a really long day. I cannot think too straight. It's kind of this syndrome. Okay, I get you. So I can book the hotel. Okay, I'm remembering. And I can have the same type of okay. What are the implications of canceling the hotel? Are they charging us anything?
No, you book the hotel, and if you cancel it, you didn't go. It's so far in advance that you don't lose anything. They just put, I think, a charge hold of, I don't remember the dollar amount, might be $50 or $150. I don't really remember, but you just are putting a reservation. And if you cancel, I think up until like a day or 2 before, you can cancel and there's no penalty. So they don't charge you anything. They just, whatever the hold is on your card of 50 or $50, they'll take that off. But they don't charge your card until you actually stay there. So there's everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Okay.
I have another question about that too. How is the follow-up different than the weeks, the advanced week?
So I have not been to an advanced follow-up. So if anybody has been to an advanced follow-up that's on this Zoom, if you could answer that, I can tell you what I've heard from my friends who have been. Because
he talked about that that they were doing dream time. I mean, he was talking about different things that he's been experiencing. Yeah. So that's what I found interesting.
The first 2 days of the 7-day event, he goes through the basics every single time because he has to get the entire group to get caught up and up to speed. However, in the AFU, everyone has been to at least 1 or more 7-day events. So then he doesn't review. He goes straight into the deeper teaching because we all know the breath. We've already, we're more versed. So he gets in deeper, faster right away. And I know that he does, like with the Marco Island AFU that was following the Orlando AFU, they did a meditation from 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning. But that was, I know everybody's going, oh, meditation from 10 at night till 6 in the morning. But you all go to your hotel room, you listen to the meditation on the app, I believe. And so you do that meditation from the comfort of your own hotel room, and then you meet at whatever time, and then you continue on. Now, I know some people are like, when am I going to get sleep? So, because a lot of people sleep some of us don't need as much sleep. Other people need 8, 10, 12 hours of sleep. So if you're an 8, 10, 12 hour sleeper, you're going to go, oh, I'm not going to survive. So one of the things to know is that every time you meditate, Dr. Joe talked about this again in Denver, when you're meditating and you're in 5D quantum, your autonomic nervous system is completely whole because it entrains with the 5D infinite source of all, which is why you need less sleep. Like when we were at this last one, for example, in Denver, I mean, I had 2 days where I didn't sleep at all. I don't know. I had so much energy on Sunday, even though he only spoke for like 2-3 hours. I went to do my meditation before I went to sleep, and I kept on meditating after the recording was over. And next thing I knew, I heard my alarm. I'm like, I never fell asleep, but I was refreshed. I felt great. Meditation refreshes you. So you, even though you think, okay, I'm not sleeping, you are getting a benefit. You're getting restoration of the body and the mind. So don't discount all that time that you're meditating throughout the day. That is restorative to you. So even though you may not be doing REM sleeping, you are oftentimes doing high gamma brainwave states. And so there's all sorts of things that are going on in your body that restore your body. So don't let your ego make you think, well, I always have to have my 8 hours of sleep. If I don't do that, I'm not going to be able to stay awake. That's your ego trying to keep you in the old familiar past. You need to realize as you get a biological upgrade, you're more whole and complete. You're optimized in your entirety. So there's a lot of physical benefits from just doing the meditations at whatever time they might be. Okay.
I
Okay,
would
so
like to attest to it. I would like to attest to it as soon as I plug my telephone to power, because can anybody see me? Okay,
Oh,
cool.
okay. I was wondering who was talking. Thank you, Marzena.
That's me. My name is Marzena, yes. And I'm novice to this type of meditation. I've been meditating for years in other styles, but this is new. And I've been always like in the morning, I would consider myself comatose. And so like waking up at the crack of 9 o'clock in the morning was difficult. And ever since I started doing the meditation in preparation for Denver and now following up, I am up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Ever since I came back from Denver, I am putting on for about 14 hours of work every day with about maybe 15 minutes of a break. I'm a piano teacher, and I'm in fact between students at my piano. So this is my office. And, you know, and I am doing it. And I cannot even believe that, that I am doing that, the energy is happening.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in the past, it was, oh my God, I woke up 15 minutes early and that is gonna kill me or something similar. No. That's really the ego. That's really the ego. You are absolutely right about it.
Yeah. And so right now, it just so happens that I believe we have all women except Rigo. So one of the, and Dr. Joe doesn't talk a lot about this, but from the different neuroscientists and doctors and professors that I've studied with, one of the things that I'm acutely aware of that as women, when we listen to a guided meditation, and in this case, we're listening to Dr. Joe, whether it's in person at a 7-day event or an AFU, or we're listening to the guided meditations that he's giving us, because we are women and we have a higher requirement for estrogen, progesterone, oxytocin. When we listen to him, believe it or not, whether he's giving us instruction or the guided meditation that we're following, we are increasing the level of estrogen in our bodies, which we need, which feels really good, which is balancing our energy, which prior to that, our estrogen was probably lower than it wasn't optimized. So just by our listening to his instruction, us listening to the guided meditations, we are balancing our hormones, we're energizing ourselves. So there's so much more than meets the eye when we are doing these meditations, because there is a hormonal and energetic balance that is taking place. It's a little bit different for men. Men are also receiving biological upgrades. Their hormones are also being balanced, but because they're being guided, the thing that propels their testosterone to be higher is that in the face of the feeling of wanting to quit or not wanting to do that, or it being difficult, them pushing through boosts their testosterone. So the dynamics are different because, you know, we're equals in that we have the same value in the divine's eyes, but the biology of a female is different than the biology of a male. Just like if you look at the human brain, you look at a female's human brain when they're talking, when they're doing activities, they divide the brain up into 8 regions, and all 8 regions they're lit up like a Christmas tree. You take the man doing the same exact thing, and first of all, they're doing one thing instead of trying to multitask. And they only have, if they're talking about their feelings and emotions, they're not problem solving, they're not, fighting or flighting, they're just talking about their emotions. If they're in an argument with their wife, the front part is dark, the fight or flight is dark, provided that they're not in a huge altercation. They're just trying to reason and logic without feeling, trying to make sense of this woman that's saying that, oh, you failed to do this or you did this wrong. And so they're giving all their left brain logistical stuff. Only the middle, the limbic brain, is the only thing that's going to line up, that's going to light up. So our brains, although they're the same, because we have to survive as a species on the planet, it's necessary for a man's brain to operate that way and for a woman's brain to operate that way. So the effect of meditation, although we all benefit from it, some of the mechanics and some of the dynamics are going to be a little bit different in terms of what I just expressed about women, all of us, about the sheer fact that we're working, having to solve problems and so forth, that increases testosterone. That means our estrogen throughout the day is dropping. Unless we're aware of that and intentional about doing something like meditation, that estrogen is going to get too low. There's the whole food dynamic, which we're not going to get into in this Zoom call. But just know that your hormones are being balanced every time we listen to these guided meditations with Dr. Joe. Okay? And that's why
I know, I actually know one of the reasons why. It's a guy talking. So I'm sorry, I missed what you just said.
Oh, I think she just said bye. Go ahead, Sid.
Oh, okay.
You're going to share. I'm not surprised that you have more energy, even though you're still working 12, 14-hour days, but you're doing these meditations and your body's being restored separate from your sleep. So that's awesome.
Yes, exactly. And to follow up on what you were just talking about, why we are getting, why the estrogen hormone is being produced, and probably oxytocin. It's a guy talking. It's the male energy around it. That does the trick.
That does the trick too. Yeah. And the progesterone and yeah, absolutely. The fact that we're receiving from an expert who's a man, the male voice, it all has to do with vibrational frequencies and anchoring. There's a whole lot kind of going on.
Exactly.
I might do a video that kind of peels, because some people don't care about that. Some people just want to know what the benefits are from the meditation. And if they feel good and feel an improvement, that's it. But a lot of us that do Dr. Joe's work, we are interested in the neuroscience. We're interested in the research. We're interested in the biological, scientific facts that have been proven. And for me, that's important because I think that, the proof is in the pudding, and it encourages people to do, for example, the breath. The breath, yeah. There was a paper written about 4 or 5 years ago. If any of you are interested, I'll send it to you. It was one of the first.
Please do.
Yeah, it was one of the first white papers written that talked about how the breath is the remote control to the brain. And so since then, there have been several different research studies that have been done throughout the country that talk about the effect of the breath, how using the breath as a remote control of the brain not only alkalizes your body, because our bodies tend to be acidic, because we have a lot of pesticides, not just in our foods, but in the air. Pesticides in our food and in the air turn into xenoestrogens for us women. So that's fake estrogens, which it's going to make you feel more fatigued. It throws all your chemistry off. So
you just nailed it. You just answered all of my questions about my health. Thank you. Can you please send me that article? I have all of the above.
Yeah. Okay. Remote control to the brain. I will send you. Send me a private message on Facebook, and I'll post a link there. I'll put it also in the Dr. Joe 30-day review group so that you guys can read it. But so we're unaware of this. So with the breath, Dr. Joe gives a lot of emphasis to the breath. rightfully so, because it is a remote control to the brain. It's a mechanism that we use to alkalize the body so that if you, let's say if you eat a lot of red meat, if you have a lot of sugar in your diet, anything that creates acidity in the body, by doing the breath, you neutralize it because you create alkaline state in your body just by doing the breath. So if we were to do nothing else but the breath, we would see benefits to our health just from doing that every day, twice a day. So like I said, there's also by doing your breath in a certain pattern. So for example, there's something that I devised a few years ago called the PSMO method, which some of you are already familiar with because I've posted it up not only on my Facebook page, but it's out there on the internet. But with my private clients, I do the PSMO method. You have physiological size. Again, it's your breath. Your brain is wired so that when you take 2 physiological sighs followed by a long exhale through the mouth, it automatically sedates the hippocampus in the back of your brain. And whatever fight or flight response, fear or negative thinking that you have, it calms it down. Animals do this. Human beings do this. You even do this in your sleep unconsciously. It's something that is innate to human beings. However, as for example, like if you recall looking at a 2-3-year-old, and you see that all of a sudden they, have some sort of argument, or maybe another child maybe pulls their hair or rips away a toy, and then they burst out in an ugly cry where they're like, wah, wah, wah. They're out of control. They can barely catch their breath. And then all of a sudden they'll go, Guess what? That's the 2 physiological sighs followed by a long exhale. A grown-up who does the ugly cry will do the exact same thing. You're not thinking about it. Your brain, your body knows automatically to do 2 physiological sighs followed by a long exhale. Like I mentioned, Dr. Andrew Huberman of Stanford Research Institute, he's a neurologist and ophthalmologist. He actually has in his lab rats and human beings, and he has studied this phenomena. So I integrated it into a method called the PSMO method. If you have anxiety, panic attack, negative thinking, depression, anything that, or just complete drainage of energy, you do the physiological size, 3 sets of them in a row, and it'll automatically calm you down, where it's like, wow, whatever nervousness or ugly feeling or negative thought starts to dissipate, that fear, critical thinking, judgment starts to wane away because you're with the breath, you're pushing the remote control saying, okay, I'm going to lower the volume on whatever's wigging me out. And so now it sedates the hippocampus of the brain. So everything Dr. Joe is doing in these meditations, I'm just going to emphasize, it's with very surgical precision that it is placed in the meditation when it's placed and for the length of time. Like you notice that at the 7 days, he doesn't play a recording. He has the music going and he is reading the energy of the room as he sees that a certain percentage of the group is starting to literally fall asleep instead of being in deep theta or gamma state. He has us do that. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I counted every time he did that this time. I would do like this with my fingers because I wanted to know if he was doing 30, because Wim Hof says to do 30. And I noticed that he would do 17 to 20, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, so that your body still stays asleep, but your brain, your conscious right side of your brain is still alert. He would wake us up so that we would continue to go in and not just fade away into sleep. So he's measuring that. He's very precise, like a surgeon, what he is doing, even the tone of his voice. If any of you have studied NLP or hypnosis, you'll recognize what he's doing as he intonates certain voice inflections, certain words. We are anchored to that so that automatically we have the same response. Our brain knows, oh, we know what she's doing. She's wanting to go into theta, eventually into gamma. She's wanting to relax head to toe. So every time you go to meditate, you'll be relaxed and get into 5D a lot faster It's not like the first time you meditated where the first 2 minutes you're like, am I ever going to relax? Am I ever going to stop these thoughts? So I hope that makes sense to all you guys.
That was a lot of wonderful information, and thank you very much. In what way is he reading the energy of the room? Is he doing it because he by now got so attuned that he can do it with his body, or does he have any instruments?
I have to call everybody. See you.
Okay, thank you, Sandy, for joining us.
Sure.
Thank you.
You know what? I can't speak for Dr. Joe because, of course, I'm not in his body. So that would be a great question to ask him directly. The only thing I can tell you from my own personal experience, I don't know where that was coming from. Anyhow, I cannot speak for him because I'm not in his body, and I haven't heard him, answer that question in public. But what I can tell you is from my own personal experience that when I've read the energy of a room or an individual or a group of people, usually it's a combination of things that you're sensing not only in your heart space, but you do get downloads that are specific either to a person or to a group. And as you learn to trust that inner, wisdom that is not from your experience, it's not from your intelligence, it's really coming from the divine, it's a higher realm, and you learn to trust it, then you're obedient, you are willing to put yourself out on a limb and you follow it, and then you see the response back. My recognition is like, I could have never done that. I'm glad that I was willing to go out on a limb and either say or do whatever impression it was that was given to me. And then it comes to pass. And the more you do it, the more heightened that sense becomes, because you will sense it. Everybody's wired differently. Some people hear words, some people see visions, some both. Some of them have a sense, a knowingness where it's not a vision, it's not words that they hear. It's just a deep sense of knowing that it's obvious that it's not from your memory or your intelligence. You don't know where it's coming from, but you're like, okay, this is a different, oftentimes it's a different languaging pattern. Like, I don't talk like that. So you know that it's not your voice. It's not my thoughts. So all I can say is, I can't speak specifically for him, but typically it's like I've never heard him say it's a download, but for me, I describe it oftentimes as a download. And so then
yeah.
you move
So,
forward.
Lillian, this is Kathleen. I have a different idea, and maybe it's more of a theory. Obviously, I can't be inside, Dr. Joe's mind either. But based upon my experience, I've been to 2 events, both in Marco Island, one in January, the other in, April, May timeframe. And then I'm actually going back again in September. Oh, great. I will plan to meet you. I've seen your invitations on Facebook, so we will connect. My sense, for what it's worth, is that if he is saying that we are multidimensional beings, he's multidimensional in the room, and this is so far out, but I feel like he is multidimensional in the room because the information that I get and the instruction that I get feels so very personal to me that that I feel like, and I don't mean this in some kind of, idol worship way. I mean this in like the highest, possible way that it's conveyed, that he is channeling or, communicating what it is that I need to hear, which at the same time that I think he's, sending information to other people, which is what they need to hear. I know, like, there's very few places where I would say something like that, but that is just my sense.
I think you hit the nail on the head. And to me, it's clear that that's his intention.
Exactly.
Like, I feel that his intention is that he will speak to you in a different dimension prior to arriving, which is what called you to attend the event.
Interesting.
His intention is to deal with, even though there's 1,500 people there, that each person will feel like they're being addressed individually. That's his intention, which is just an inward attention. And Dr. Joe, make no mistakes, Dr. Joe is your mirror. He is your reflection. He is an aspect that you're seeing in a 3D realm. So he is you, you are him. So he knows you, you know him.
Yeah.
That's why you
Yeah.
recognize him. That's why you resonate with him, if that makes sense. In
Yeah.
fact,
Did you say did you say I idolize him? I don't idol. Oh, okay. I thought I heard you sound like, no, I don't idolize the guy. Yeah.
no, it's not idolized. You
Yeah.
mirror him, he mirrors you.
Mm,
You recognize him because he is an aspect of you. You create
mm,
that encounter where just as we, the collective, need him, you know, there's a collective here in 3D, there's a collective also, which is
yeah.
in 5D. But this is a co-creation. All of us has co-created this where we wanted to see that aspect of ourselves. And so Dr. Joe is the embodiment of that. That's why certain things feel like home. Certain we know it resonates as such truth. We don't need a lot of exterior proof. It resonates in a place deep down inside you that you recognize it. You
Right.
realize it, you understand it, and you don't even know how you understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how
Yeah.
to know this. So once you can put your left brain at bay and use your left brain for what it originally was intended for, and stay in that conscious state, then you're going to just keep on growing and growing and growing and growing. And you're being fed exactly what you need at the right place.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre to me that I just keep going back. You know, it's like, you know, 3 times in 6 months. I mean, come on. So, yeah.
You're not the person you were, you know,
Right.
or the first of it. We keep on growing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we keep on going back as well. And
Yeah.
and again, there's an aspect of Dr. Joe. That's your mirror. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
There's an aspect of ourselves that we see in him. You know, I don't think there's a single person, not just on here, but of the people who go to Dr. Joe's event, there's no one who has gone from birth up until this point without any kind of adversity or challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He put his hell to pay to get to where he's at. And he, you know, some people may think it's like, oh, he's arrived, you know, everything is like on a silver platter for him. Everything is all fine and dandy. Make no mistakes.
Oh,
He has probably more challenges, not the type of challenge that he had when he broke his back from that accident, but to run an event, you know, 1,500 people at a time, he's doing that 10, 12 times a year. He's doing it internationally, with or without COVID. There's a lot of moving parts. To pull that off, he could not possibly do that with a regular left brain approach.
right, for sure. Yeah.
And he's shared with us how it's like, you know what? I know this doesn't make sense logistically, and what my eyes see are telling me it's not possible, but you know what? He knows how to go into 5D. I'm going to go into 5D. I'm going to focus on what it is that I want, clear intention, elevated emotion, let it go. And guess what? All of a sudden, a flight gets moved down, another one gets pushed up, a private plane, whatever, doesn't matter. But the same thing is true for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Sure.
like he calls, every time he brings up somebody that brings up, you know, shares a testimonial with us, he says, this is, you know, the embodiment of living truth. Every single one of those people are the embodiment of living truth. He is the embodiment of living truth. And we're all wanting to continue to grow. We don't want to stay stagnant. And that's what on the Zoom call we want to hear, because it's encouraging to hear, oh my gosh, what Dawn Marie, she manifested a first class, you know, plane ticket that a friend gifted her. I'm like, who does that? Apparently Dawn Marie does. And all of us get to that too. And so many wonderful things. And so that's the purpose of us being on here tonight, is to uplift, encourage, and empower each other.
Yes, ladies, I do not mean to interrupt. I tremendously enjoyed this conversation, but I've got to run to my next obligation. So thank you for having me in. I totally enjoyed it. And Linian, if you could send that link or put it maybe somewhere, that would be appreciated.
Okay, I will definitely do that. I'll put it in the Dr. Joe 30-day review Facebook group. You'll see it there, and we'll go from there. And if not, also text me through Facebook Messenger. Just remind me, and then I'll send you it individually, because I want to make sure you get that.
Okay, super. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
So I just
Bye.
a little bit of a clarification about the hotel, because I'm going. Come hell or high water, I'm going. So I would like to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and book the room, but I know that they do a discount, a group discount. Will they still honor that?
They'll honor it. What they do is they'll give you a temporary confirmation number, and they'll tell you this is not the actual confirmation number. Once your event goes live and your registration for the event that day goes live, then within 2 days, you'll get an email saying this is your confirmation number, and then you'll have the group discount and so forth. The most important thing is to get the room booked, and then they will apply it. They will honor the group rate because you're part of that group.
So I call them back once the tickets go live and say, okay, let's switch this reservation to Dr. Joe's.
Yeah, so then I would call them. If you want, I'll give you the Gaylord's number so that you.
Oh, look, I've got it right here.
Okay.
I told you I'm going.
So just call them, and if you're not a JW Marriott Rewards member, it's free. So just either call or go online, sign up for it, and
Uh-huh.
you call the Gaylord. You can tell them I'm a JW Rewards member because JW Marriott owns
I'm
them.
a Bonvoy is
Yeah.
boy.
I think
member.
Boy.
I think that's the old name. It used to be Worldwide, blah blah blah, and then I think Bonvoy is like another name.
Marriott.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you're fine with that, and then you should be fine. You should be good to go.
That's so exciting. Okay, yeah, I even bought my plane ticket yesterday morning.
Wow. Good for
I
you.
didn't even know what the date was. You guys, it was I'm in Oklahoma. It was $180 with the $14 fee to be able to move the ticket around.
Oh,
Perfect.
So yeah, I mean,
excellent.
last time I drove and I paid for parking and I never left the facilities.
I know $20
Right.
a day to pay for parking. You're better.
Nine-
Yeah.
$19. He got a discount for us, but yeah, so I do have it booked through the 3rd. I may just treat myself and stay an extra day or 2 days.
Take a week. You're there for the 4 days and add on an extra 3, make it a vacation. And
Right?
Did you float the river?
I did.
Me too.
I did. That water was funky smelling. I still
At the
suffer.
Gaylord?
Yes.
Where's the river to float on?
The the lazy river.
The lazy river.
Where is that?
It's out by the pool. It's out by the pool.
Are you talking the one that goes outside with the tubes and stuff?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I did that. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
and it
The
has
lazy river.
waterfalls.
The water was so weird. I still have some issues with my sense of smell from COVID. And it's been 11 months, 10 months ago or something like that. It's been a long time. But since I've been really diving deep into these meditations with Joe, I've gotten some of my sense. I can smell bleach again.
Oh,
I could smell bleach before. And now I
try
can smell
peppermint.
What's that?
Try peppermint.
I tried. You know what? Oh gosh, I thought about this. I had a CAT scan done on my brain.
When?
My doctor wanted to take a peek because COVID's so new and I still didn't have my sense of smell yet. I'm wondering if I went ahead and filled out the paperwork to be a test subject for COVID.
Uh-huh.
And I just remembered I need to make a note and just get a hold of the team, the science team, to see if they would email them, see if they'd be interested, because I got films of my brain. I was excited about it,
Let me know.
How many people get an opportunity to really take a look at their full entire brain.
So let me know if you get a hold. Usually it takes them 3-4 days to get back to you. Let me know if you have trouble getting a hold of them, because I actually am connected to Hemal Patel, who was the guy who gave us the research in Denver. I met with him in Orlando in April.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be incredible for them to have, because you actually have your CAT scan.
I actually have film. Yeah, because it was like 8 months after COVID, and I recovered from it, and I went to the doctor, and it's very unsettling. Anytime you lose one of your 5 main senses,
of course,
very unsettling, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I can't smell body odor. You know, I
The
mean,
reason why we have our sense of smell, it affects how food tastes. It affects a
Mhm.
whole bunch of different things actually. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. Um, you know, and the really disturbing one was I couldn't smell stool.
oh,
I'm
really?
serious. Yes. And people are like, oh, well, that's good. No,
There's a
it's not
protection.
good. Well, we can tell a lot about our health by the consistency and all of that, you know. And that's my mother coming out, my motherly instinct, like, no, you know, I found myself actually missing it. My
Yeah.
friends loved it because they could pass gas around me and I didn't care. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Wow, weird. That is
Very,
so weird.
very weird. So, but thank you for reminding me. So I will make sure, because I mean, it's information for them and it's something they don't have to do, you
Absolutely.
know. And so, yeah, that's exciting. I really appreciate you doing this. Um, thank
Yeah, I enjoyed seeing everybody's faces.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Really nice, great conversation.
Thank you very much, you guys. I don't know if Kathleen or if if there's something that you want to share or if you just want to listen. Oh, there you go.
Here
Um,
I am. I've just been listening. I'm good, and I've already shared.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure everybody has an opportunity to say what they wanted to share about their incredible.
Absolutely.
Okay, so HH hasn't responded, so I think they just want to listen. You guys, thank you. This was a blast. Around the 25th of every month, unless the 25th is a Saturday or a Sunday, I usually try and schedule these on the 25th. This one, of course, is the 23rd because the 25th is Sunday. So I will let you know. I'll go ahead and post the one for next month, and every 30 days, we'll be just moving forward. And once I go to Marco Island in September, then we'll be having the advanced students along with the AFU students that will be sharing every 30 days, just because I get so much from this, and everyone that I know is just telling me, they're like, it's very uplifting and encouraging to have these. And so it's just a matter of us growing together. Okay.
mhm. Stay
Sounds
connected.
great. Thanks so
did
much.
you guys make a testimony? Did any of you guys?
Say that again.
Pardon me?
Did anybody in here make a testimony? Did
I did a testimony. I have to still, it's still on my camera. I did when I was in Denver. So I'm sending them one of my testimonies actually.
okay?
What else?
I was writing mine.
You're gonna write it, not
Mhm.
film it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can write it, or you can. He likes the video testimonials, but they're all welcome, and he's always
Yeah.
up. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's all really good.
And so I mean, it's mine isn't a physical illness though. I mean, it's just it was a life change.
Well, but
Mhm.
losing your smell and gaining it back, that's a big.
Oh no, that's another benefit. No, it's just it's totally something else. It's my
Yeah.
relationship with my daughter, and yeah, it's
So I mean, that would be a great testimonial, and the fact that the whole brain scan that you're able to show the before and after, that's a big deal, especially with in the light of the pandemic. So that's incredible research for them too. So
and so is it pretty easy where to go to do this video testimony?
there's on the Telegram. Are you? Let me see. I'll tell you they gave us a link in Telegram to post those testimonials. And if not, you can email it to Encephalon. If your video file on your cell or your camera is too big, you can use WeTransfer.com and you can send up to 1 gigabyte for free, and it'll send it to them as a video link, and then they can download it. So I'm going to type in here WeTransfer.com, because then you just need, all you need is the Encephalon's email address. And if you give me a second, let me see if I can find the Telegram. I'll see if
Ladies, I'm going to sign off here because I'm shivering out here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna
It
sign off too.
got a little-
Lillian, thanks.
Got a little cooler, so I'm going to head inside. But thank you so much. I appreciate everything everybody contributed. And Diane, thanks for throwing this together or I should say putting it on the calendar. I guess it's a monthly thing. So I look forward to seeing all of you again.
Okay, great, you guys.
Have a nice night.
Thank you, Lillian. I'm taking off.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me see if I can find really quick here. Evolve. Event announcement, Denver. Okay, so in the event, do you have Telegraph?
I do. Yeah.
In Telegraph, they had, let's see, I'll tell you the day and time that they sent. Enter raffle here. Last chance to enter giveaway, purchase and pick up event shirts. Yeah, there was a link on here and it wasn't really obvious that you could share your testimonial, gift to give.
Oh, just scrolling back through these makes my heart swell.
Yes, it's so awesome.
Yes.
If you want to text message me on Facebook, I'll find the link, I'll cut and paste it and I'll send it to you.
Okay. Okay. I'm also looking back through it. So,
Yeah, I'm looking through it too. I remember being at the event and I couldn't find it. And then I eventually, as I looked a little slower, I was able to find it. Yeah, because they did ask for testimonials.
so I did go ahead and join the co-heal, and then there's also another group for the healing. I think, or wait, no, I think I thought this was going to be like a kind of a healing thing too. But I found it, testimonies. It is, so you will know, let's see what the date is.
Did you find it in Telegram?
Yes. It is, where do you see the times or the date? At the end?
If you look at the very bottom, if you look at the bottom of each little text message in Telegram, it says how many people saw it and it gives you the time. And then you have to scroll to the top to see each day. It doesn't give you the date for each one. You have to go to the beginning of each day to see what day it was. So like July 15th, they had 1, 2, 3, they probably had 5 or 6 text messages.
July 14th at 3:04.
Okay, so July 14th, so it's the one previous. Oh yeah, see, there you go. And so
One.
they have the WeTransfer.com that I mentioned to you. It says newleafmedia.wetransfer.com. So, okay, yeah, so I'm going to cut and paste that because we can put that in our group.
Yes, yeah. That sounds good.
Okay, awesome.
Well, I am just looking forward to keep on going with this, and thank you again for being you.
You're welcome. Thank you also. And yeah, so, and if anybody from this group, either them or somebody that they know needs a coherence healing, I usually do coherence healings like 2 or 3 a week for anyone who needs it. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care.
Have
Have a great one. It's great meeting you, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.